let's get right into it. So, this is second time I to you, Claire. Thank you for joining.
You for
And
having me.
yes, so go ahead and again introduce yourself. I know last time, but I want to do it. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, yes. I said I know you introduced yourself last time, but if you can do it again, please.
Yes, I am a secular quranist. Secular Quranism is a legal system that is designed to promote social conservatism for non Muslims. Um, People often confuse it with Islam, but basically it's Sharia for non Muslims because it protects the freedom of belief of non Muslims
Uh
and
huh.
doesn't require anyone to change their religion. I am not myself Muslim.
Right. So last time we talked, and I did listen to the girl who read your book,
Oh,
and
great.
yeah, and understand your ideas a little bit better. So the question I have from the start, right, is you in your book you only reference two verses in the Quran, and one was, and you sent me a message about it too. I guess we can talk about that. First was you said that chapter 2 verse 256, where it says no compulsion in religion is equal to the First Amendment, and then you reference the Quran. Let me see, chapter. Which one was it? Yeah, chapter 24 too, right? About lashing.
The 100 lashes, yes.
Yes, yes, okay. And you also said that you had, I guess, referenced in your book that you have a degree in law.
Yes, I managed to pass my bar exams, yes.
So, do you have a degree in law or not?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a degree in law. I also passed my bar exams, but I never practiced.
What kind of law was it? Just common law or criminal law or just
Um,
just
UK
just the
law.
bar?
UK
Just
law.
UK law in general. Okay.
Well, yeah, UK law, common law, yes.
Yeah, just the common law in general. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
So it would be the legal system in Australia, Canada, Israel, America.
Mm. Yeah, no, I got it. Okay, well, the question, I don't know where to begin, but let's start with this, right? Because I did want to talk about the Quran last time. Uh, you said that you have read the Quran fully. Hello.
Yes, I have translations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's fine. I'm not.
Yes, I have read the Quran in several translations. You can't
Yeah,
hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm saying
Can you
I'm
hear
absolutely
me?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm
Okay.
absolutely fine. Can you hear me, Claire? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you say that you're absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with
Oh
the
my God.
translations.
I can hear.
I don't know if there's a glitch. I have no. I'm
Yes.
saying yeah. I'm saying I'm fine with the translations that you read. Right. I'm not gonna focus on like the Arabic stuff. Okay. So you have a common law degree, and you also advocate for Sharia for non-Muslims. Yet you say not a Muslim. Now you, I'm just wondering here if you read this one because you advocate for this in your book. 24:2. It says, "As for female and male fornicators, give each of them 100 lashes, and do not let pity for them make you lenient in enforcing the law of Allah, if you truly believe in Allah and the last day. Let a number of believers witness their punishment." Now, of course, since you advocate for Sharia for non-Muslims, it's
Mm.
kind of odd that, of course, this reference for the believers, right? How do you reconcile that?
I think, okay, I believe that the reason for Western decline and degeneracy is is caused by widespread illegitimacy, and
No,
by
Claire,
that I
Claire,
mean
that's Claire. That's not what I'm
people
asking.
who
Claire, Claire,
don't marry before
that's
becoming
Claire.
parents.
Claire, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking from the standpoint of
What are you
implementing.
asking me?
Yeah, from the standpoint of implementing this verse in the Quran, it says it's for the believers. So how can you
Yeah,
if you
but I'm
want
saying
Sharia for
bastardy
non-believers?
should be.
Go ahead.
I'm saying it's dysgenic to condone bastardy. Do you know what I mean by dysgenic?
No, actually not. You have to explain.
Do you know what is meant by degeneracy?
Yes.
So,
What's that
would you
word?
agree that
Dysgenic.
degeneracy
No, dysgenic.
it
What
means
is it?
causing degeneracy?
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know if you do you live in the West?
Yes.
Have you noticed that they're getting stupider and more corrupt?
Well, that's not really the issue here, right? The issue is
It is the
again.
issue because that's what
No, no,
that's what
but
I'm
Claire,
hoping to fix.
Claire, you want to implement Sharia for non-believers, and your
Yes,
reference point is in the Quran 24:2 that is clearly for believers. Now, how do you reconcile that?
I'm saying you don't have to be Muslim to see the point of marriage and to see that good married parenting, responsible parenting, would produce a better quality next generation.
Y- Yeah, again, so the issue is you say you're not a Muslim, you want to implement Sharia for non-Muslims. So you kind of want to you kind of saying it doesn't matter if it says for believers or not, it should be implemented to everybody anyway.
Yeah, because
Okay.
bastardy is bad for
Mm,
the quality of the next generation.
okay.
And,
Okay.
and, and this acceptance of widespread illegitimacy is caused by 50 years of feminism.
Hmm. Now it says that male and female fornicators, and I'm guessing like let's go through this word by word. What do you how do you interpret the word fornicators here? Is it anybody who has sex outside of marriage?
Yes, technically, but the offence under secular Quranism won't kick in until you become an unmarried parent, and that is when the offence kicks in. So, basically, nothing is going to happen to you if you sleep around, but you don't, but you're not an unmarried parent. But the
Uh huh.
moment you become an unmarried parent, well, you're clearly a sex offender,
Hmm.
and the penalty for being a sex offender is 100 lashes per illegitimate offspring.
So your view of a sex offender is anybody who is a single parent?
Yes,
Okay. And you agree with lashing single parents with 100 lashes?
yes,
Okay. Well, th- when I when you say that you have a degree in law, and so basically you disregard the whole idea of freedom and civil law
No, you just have to
under the
change the
law.
law. You just have to
No, I
change the
understand. I
law.
understand they have to change it. I understand it, but you dismiss the idea of uh, basically basically having freedom in society,
Freedom
because
to
that's what.
fuck. Well, freedom to fuck is not not a good thing. I mean, even liberals think, oh well, maybe we shouldn't have sex with underage individuals. We shouldn't have sex with members of our own family. You know, some of them still have standards, right? So their standard of it being okay to have sex with another consenting adult is a low it's a low standard, but it is nevertheless a standard. But I'm saying it needs to be raised higher because marriage is the gold standard of marriage of sexual morality.
How, who does it harm? Like, how does it harm you that single parents exist?
It lowers standards of education. It raises the crime statistics, and it makes our politicians even more corrupt and incompetent.
So it's a slippery slope argument.
Yeah, we're nearly at the bottom of the sea,
I
of the
mean,
slide now.
you do realize, because you have a law degree, that a slippery slope argument is not really holding up in court, right? When you actually try to uh, make up new laws and argue if a law is good enough or not, a slippery slope argument that goes beyond the individual is not really valid for how a common law work.
Well, but basically, our politicians change the laws often when it suits them.
Yes, but the slippery slope argument is not something that usually holds up. You can't make up law and say, if I don't know how I would put it. Let's say you you want you want to implement a law of commerce. Now, the law of commerce means that you have freedom to trade. Now, because there's a risk of people exploiting the law to their own benefit, you don't scrap that law. What you do is you put up clauses so it's harder uh, and and to circumvent that law. So you cannot exploit that law. You should know this, right? Like,
Yeah,
this should make
I
sense to you.
still don't get your point. I don't get your point. What is, clauses in commercial contracts got to do with
I'm telling you exactly
treating unmarried
how.
parents
Yeah,
as sex
I'm telling
offenders
you,
to
since you have a
discourage them?
law degree, you should understand how the system works when it comes to enforcing new laws and why they come about.
Okay, I still don't. I mean, I'm saying it's quite easy to enforce, isn't it? I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, okay. So give it another example. Let's make a comparison. You talk about crime statistics and all that. What do you think of cousin marriage?
it's not forbidden in either the Bible or the Quran.
Yeah, and okay, clear one thing with me. You gotta know, I'm an atheist. I don't care jack shit about what the Bible say. Okay, I'm going with what you talk about, the practice of society, what the Quran says that you want to promote, and understanding how, if you promote the Quran, aka Sharia, into society and scrap common law, as you said, as you practice or as you studied, and see if it actually sticks. Now, again, do you have a problem with cousin marriage?
I'm not going to forbid what God has allowed.
Okay, because you're not a Muslim and you say you're agnostic, but we can clearly see that cousin marriage has a very bad it really has bad implications upon society and the structure of family,
Yeah, but most
and
people don't end up
and it
marrying their
does lead
cousins.
and it does lead to a lot of unstable unstable families and higher crime rates and also lower intelligence in people.
Well, most people are not married to their cousins. Most
and
people
of
are
course a lot
married
of
parents.
hold on, and of course a lot of defects, right? Genetical defects. So with all that, you really think that have being single adults, single parents, is a bigger issue?
Yeah, because most convicted prisoners come from homes run by their unmarried mother in a fatherless home. So that's a more urgent problem than the occasional birth
No,
defects.
clear. Okay, this is you saying that we have statistics on this, right? I can show you statistics of the Muslim world where cousin marriage is allowed, where yes, IQs go down, right? Unstable families occur, and therefore more crime rates. Like when you talk about single parenting being such a disease in society that you have to lash single parents, it doesn't really add up to this slippery slope argument, because if you want to see what actually makes society worse, there are plenty of other things out there than single parenting. And by the way, I don't really think that single parenting, as you say, is as bad as you make it out to be, because I have not seen any statistics on it of, as you said, it leads to corruption in society and more criminality.
Well, the Bhagavad Gita has a verse saying that, you know, making the point that I just made.
Who?
Shall I? The Bhagavad Gita, have you heard of it?
The Bhagavad
It's
Gita? Yeah, yeah, but Claire, again, I don't care about other scriptures. I care about the Quran that you promote, and compare it to the law, the common law that you have a degree in. Like you say you have a degree in law, but you dismiss everything of the practice of law, because you try to say, oh, it's okay to change laws, but based on like, Claire. Let me
well,
ask you this.
Parliament does
Uh,
it all the time.
but Claire, yes, but they have to have a basis and good arguments for it. Your argument would not ever would never stick in common law. Do you have any respect
It's nothing
for
to
the?
do with common law. It's about Parliament voting
Okay,
for it or against it.
yeah, but you still need arguments that sticks. Claire, do you have any respect for the law in Britain?
Yes,
Because
I
seems
think
like you
the
don't.
rule of law is important to keep the peace in society.
No.
And
No, no, the common law that you have a degree in. Do you have any respect for it?
well, I don't agree with all the laws that
Mm.
are currently enforceable. Who does agree with everything, every law in their country?
Well, it depends of what the law is and what the arguments are for the law to exist.
I think you're confusing what the law forbids and allows with the legal system. So a common law is just a system
Claire,
of law.
how is a law formed?
It's passed by
How is it
Parliament.
formed?
It's
How is
passed
it
by
formed?
Parliament after a debate.
I'm not asking how it's passed. I'm asking you how is it formed?
I don't understand your question. Please tell me your answer.
Okay, let's put it this way. You have a neighborhood with a school, and past that
Mhm.
neighborhood you have a road where cars driving. Now, how do you how would a law pass? How would a law form to limit the speed around the school?
It's called the highway code where I live.
Okay, so how is that code formed? How was that code formed?
Oh, what do you mean? I mean, motorists who have passed their driving test would know the highway code
Right, right. What is the arguments for a highway code?
so that people using the road can enjoy safety as they drive from one place to another.
Right, but it's also the safety of the school and the children running around, because we know the children don't really have much. Uh, they really don't have much awareness when it comes to traffic, right? So
So,
that's
motorists are supposed to slow down when they're near a school.
right. So that's the argument why you need regulations of traffic near a school.
Yes.
Yes. So then you have a valid argument of how a law is formed and understanding the cause and effect and the harm effect of such a law. It wouldn't make sense to put a high, like let's say 50, 50, I don't know, 35. I go by kilometers, right? So it wouldn't make sense to put a 35-kilometer speed limit on a highway, would it?
Yeah, because it's not necessary.
Right. Thank you. So it's not necessary. So can you tell me the necessity of lashing the fornicators, which in your mind is the single parents?
To discourage illegitimacy and encourage better parenting by married parents who will stay together,
By lashing them,
by treating unmarried parents as sex offenders.
sex offenders, right? Now, just to go back to this example I gave you, right? The does does the law of the highway code, does it treat the the what do you call it, the driver as a criminal by default? Does it deal with the driver as a criminal by default?
I'm sorry, obviously, if you drive dangerously
Hmm.
or recklessly and you kill
Does it
someone, you're
does
going to
it
be treated, you're going to be punished, particularly if you
yeah, but
break the
does
highway
it
code.
yes, yes, but does it treat the driver as a criminal by default?
Well, causing death by dangerous driving is an offence.
No. Does it treat the driver as criminal by default?
People go to jail for killing people driving
Claire, does it
dangerously.
Claire, does it treat the driver as a criminal by default?
No,
Thank you.
they
Thank
have
you.
the right to use the highway until they commit an offence.
Yes. So here, all right, you cannot treat people as criminals by default and saying that anybody who ends up being a single parent is somehow a criminal.
Why not? I know this would not be popular or socially accepted at the moment,
Okay, who who
but
who do, okay,
anyway,
who does it again? Who does this harm? Because in the scenario I gave you with the schoolyard and the driver, this is a case and point scenario where you have somebody you hurt directly, and if you and you the risk of hurting somebody is significantly increased with the speeds. The bigger speeds, the more risk of hurting somebody. Here, so there's not a slippery slope argument. This is a cause and effect. Here, this is a slippery slope argument by you. This is not a cause and effect saying that it can lead to this and this and this and that, because of single parenting, and anybody who has sex before before marriage uh, is viewed as a potential criminal.
Well, if they produce bastards, then there's a conclusive evidence that they had
Mhm.
that they fornicated, right? I mean, you don't need to say, "Ooh, did you see them having sex?" Blah blah blah. It's like you
Yeah,
produced offspring without a
actually, you know what?
marriage license. You were having unlicensed sex. Your kid is unlicensed.
Mm,
You're a sex offender.
yeah,
What's the problem?
yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean,
there's a
do
lot
you
of
want to encourage better parenting or
Claire.
not?
There's a lot of problems, but you said something right now that's actually very funny because you said like it doesn't have to be that you have to you don't have to have witnesses, but in here it says no, you need witnesses. Okay,
Oh, that only applies to lesbians, I think.
no, those who
Well,
accuse
you're
chaste
talking about
women of adultery and
chapter
fail
4,
to produce
verse
wit. Those
15.
who accuse chaste women of adultery and fail to produce four witnesses, give them eight lashes each.
Yeah, so, if you accuse somebody of being a sex offender without good evidence, you're
Hmm.
going to
But you just
get
said that
punished.
you don't need witnesses.
I don't need what?
You just said you don't need witnesses.
I am talking about producing illegitimate offspring without a marriage license. So if you are an unmarried parent and you haven't got a marriage license, then it's obvious what you did.
Hmm.
Unless the virgin birth excuse has been used once and once only. I don't think anybody else apart from Mary can use this explanation of well, I don't know how I got pregnant. God just visited me and there I was pregnant with his son.
So okay, so you think that single parents should be classed as sex offenders?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't agree with the concept of uh, what do you call it, consensual sex. You don't agree on that.
Well, if you go around having sex and nobody gets pregnant, then you get away with it, right? There is no offense. The offense only crystallizes when you produce illegitimate offspring without a marriage
The
certificate.
whole understanding in UK in Britain today is that a sex offender is somebody who is a predator who goes after somebody and have sex with somebody without without consent. And by the way, we're gonna get into this as well, but pedophilia is also seen as a sex offense because
Statutory
the
rape is also a sex offense, yes.
rapist means like yeah, that's why I'm saying non-consent. All right, and again,
Well,
like
statutory rape means that it's still an offense even though the underage person consented. That's what statutory
yes,
rape means.
yes, and there's also like, as you said, statutory rape, like when somebody takes advantage of you because you know you're in a better position, and you know you take advantage of that. There's a lot of things like that, right? Now
Mhm.
in Islam, in the Quran, right, nothing like that exists. But you wanna say that this is a bigger issue. You wanna class the single parents with the on the same level as pedophiles and rapists?
Well, there are all kinds of sex offenses, right? And
Yes, I
yeah,
understand that.
yeah,
What I'm asking you is, do you
yes,
want to
and the Quran
class?
agrees with me.
Do you want to hold on? Do you want to class these single parents on the same level as rapists and pedophiles?
No, because there are different forms of sexual offenses. There are different kinds of sexual offenses. So the Quran doesn't, says it's a sexual event. So we can say, well, God agrees with us. So let's go.
No, again, what I'm asking is a single parent who had like consensual sex, all right, had a baby, somehow to you, that's equally as bad as somebody who's a rapist. What if what if this poor let's say a poor lady got raped and she had a illegitimate son, right? Then what? Would you also class her as a fornicator?
Well, if it's proved that she was indeed raped, then
Mhm.
then she doesn't get punished at all.
Okay.
But she
So
would
the
have to
que-
prove that she was
so the
raped,
que- so
because
the question
otherwise,
I
any
have
woman
is
can say, "Oh, he raped me."
mm. So the question I have is like, why do you even reference the Quran then? Because number one, here you go, 424 of the Quran, right? Married women except those who your right hand possesses. Okay,
hmm What's
yeah,
your point?
yeah. The those who your right hand possesses, right? You're allowed to do whatever you want with them.
That verse applies to
For here's
women who
423.
are.
Just hold on. No. Let me read it in context here. So 423 first. All right. Prohibited to you are your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, your father's sisters, your mother's sisters, your brother's daughters, your sister's daughters, your mothers. I'm not reading the brackets because that's added. Your mothers who nursed you, your sister for nursing, your wife's mothers, and your stepdaughters under your guardianship of your wives unto whom you have gone in. But if you have not gone in, unto them there is no sin upon you. And the wives of your sons who are from your loins, and that you take two sisters simultaneously, except for what has already occurred. Right? That's what's forbidden for you, and that's why there is no penalty for cousin marriage in Islam because it's not stipulated in the Quran here. Next verse, right?
Mhm.
Also, and also the married women, right? All married women, except those who your right hand possesses, right? So if you have six slaves, then you can do whatever you want with them.
Well, I have a different interpretation of that. So this means that if you have females who are slaves, you you are not allowed to just rape them randomly. If you want to have sex with them, you have to ask them if they would like to marry you or work as a prostitute to eventually secure their manumission.
So, so you have no problem with exploiting sex slave for sex, but you have a problem
No, but women
with
have always been part of booty. I mean, I don't know why people are pretending to be surprised. Women have always been part of booty. So I guess if you win a
okay,
war,
but Claire, in Britain today, again, you have to have consent for sex. If you don't have consent, you're a rapist. The Quran says you can do with your women whatever you want. You don't need
it
consent.
doesn't say that. This is obviously, if you acquire female slaves, it means you won a war, and having won a war, um, there's no law there anymore to say you're being a rapist or whatever.
Under Sharia rule based on the Quran, men are allowed to have sex slaves. It doesn't
Only if
matter.
they
It
are
clear. It
soldiers.
doesn't matter. Clear. It doesn't matter if you won a war or not. If you have a sex slave and the girl does not consent, it does not matter. And by the way, of course, 434 says that men are in charge of women of what Allah has given one over the other. But uh, so righteous women are devotedly obedient, right? So they can't even say no. And if you
Of course,
fear,
they could say
and
no.
no, they cannot say no. If you
Oh, lots
fear
of
arrogance,
Muslim women say no all the time.
shut up, I'm talking. But those from you fear arrogance, first advise them, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. But if they obey you, seek no means against them. Clearly, if you fear disobedience from your wife, you can take actions against her. So a wife, even a wife, are not allowed to say no to you, meaning there is no consent. The statutory rape you're talking about is non-existent within Islam and the Quran and Sharia.
It obviously depends on how well it is enforced and how it is interpreted.
Do you think that under Sharia women would have any rights?
Of course they do. They would be more likely to be married mothers than they are currently.
So it seems like you don't understand what consent means.
What makes you think that? I have not proposed that men go around raping women.
Well, that's exactly what you propose when you advocate for the Quran.
I don't see how.
Because again, statutory rape is a thing in Britain. According to the verse in the Quran
But you're
here,
not supposed to marry underage females anyway.
I'm not even going there. I'm talking about statutory rape is not a thing within this verse because this verse absolutely tells you that the woman needs to be obedient, and if you fear rebellion from her, strike her down. So if a
Right.
man wants to
You're
no if
interpreting it. You're
no
interpreting it as
no
you're the husband, the wife hasn't done anything, but you think she might have done something. You can't prove it. You're just going to hit her anyway. Is that your interpretation of that verse?
what does this mean? Read this.
What are you talking about now?
Read the highlighted one.
Men are managers
No,
of
no, no,
affairs.
no, 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 no. Read this
Okay.
highlighted one. This. What does
Yeah.
this mean?
So it says, and those you fear may be rebellious, admonish, banish them to their
Right.
couches and beat them.
Those
Right.
who you fear may be rebellious.
Okay. So you're saying you're going to the husband can for no reason at all, just because he's feeling a bit paranoid and the wife didn't do anything. Um, he can beat her for this is how you want to interpret it, right? And I'm saying obviously not, because what would happen if you wanted to get to the
If the man wants to have sex, right, with his wife, and the woman says no, then that's a fair rebellion. Righteous women are therefore obedient. They have to obey the husband.
in the UK there is marital rape. I do not propose to abolish that offence, but I'm saying,
But that
obviously,
goes
if you're
against the
married,
Quran.
you are entitled to have. Well, I mean, why? I'm
That goes
saying,
against
if
the
you're
Quran.
married, don't you think you're entitled to? Are you just going to talk over me the whole time when I'm trying to answer your questions? I would say obviously husbands and wives are entitled to expect sex from each other, because if they don't, if they never have sex with each other, one of the parties of the marriage are saying, "Well, we never had sex. I want my marriage annulled so I can go and marry somebody prepared to have sex with me."
Mhm. But where
So
does
I'm
it?
saying, obviously,
Hold on, Claire.
husband and
Hold
wife
on, Claire.
have to have sex
Claire.
with each
No,
other
Claire.
at some
No,
stage.
no. I'm gonna mute you. Okay. No. Okay. Listen. Where in the Quran does it say that a woman has the right to divorce her husband?
It is assumed.
Oh, really? You assume
Yeah,
Allah's words?
yeah.
No,
That's how
that's
I'm
not.
going to interpret it.
No,
That's how
no,
I'm going to interpret it.
no, no. You cannot
Know
assume.
what?
No, if you advocate for Sharia and the Quran, you cannot say it's assumed because not. Well, how would you even be
I
able to assume it?
Yeah, secular Quranism is different from
Claire,
their kind of Sharia.
Claire,
I mean,
Where in the
are you saying that women have no right to divorce their husbands even now?
Claire, where in the Quran would you even find a verse that make you assume that a woman has a right to divorce?
It is assumed, so it's
How?
implicit
How?
because there is a chapter on divorce,
Uh-huh.
and
Great. Let's go to
yeah,
that. Let's go.
let's
Let's
go
go.
to that
Yeah. Let's
chapter.
go to that.
It's a
Let's
very
go to
small
that
one.
chapter. Let's go to that chapter. Here you
Mhm.
go. Here you go. And those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their period is 3 months. And also those who have not menstruated and those who are pregnant. Right? As for your women who has the spirit of further menstruating, if you have doubt, their period should be 3 months, and those who have not menstruated as yet. So this chapter of divorce talks about that you can divorce, you as a man can divorce a prepubescent girl who has not menstruated yet. So basically, according to the Quran, pedophilia is allowed. And you want to say that this somehow is no problem because you follow the Quran, right? And you're saying you want to enforce single parents being being sex offenders, but then say, well, it's okay to divorce prepubescent girls, and that's not a sex offense.
You're not supposed to marry a child, right? So the only
What does
explanation
it
I can
mean?
find
What
for
does it
this,
mean?
okay,
What does it
you're not
mean?
even going to let me answer your question. Okay, just
No.
carry on talking over me.
What does it mean? What does it mean that you are allowed to divorce prepubescent girls? As for your women who has the spirit for the
Okay,
menstruating,
I
if you
was in
have
the
doubt,
process of
their
explaining it.
periods
Are you
shall be
going to
three
give me an
months.
opportunity to explain it?
Go
So,
ahead.
so, so what do you think that verse means? It means that it must have been a practice in Mohammedan times for females promised to their husband in a child betrothal to go there early. So she hasn't
No,
menstruated.
no,
Know what?
that's not how it works.
How do you know?
Because I know the context. I'm gonna show you right away. Okay.
Okay, show me the context. I mean, I'm sure there is a practice
Here
of
is
women,
chapter
of
two.
females being sent early to the households of their future husbands.
Hmm.
Because it's like, well, you're going to marry him anyway when you start your period. You go early now and you get used to his ways.
Here's chapter 2, verse 228. Divorced women shall wait by themselves for 3 periods, and it is not lawful for them to hide what God has created in their wombs if they believe in God, whatever. In such time, their mates have better right to restore them if they desire to set things right. Women have such honorable rights and whatever, blah blah blah. But their men have a degree above it. So this is the first, right?
Okay,
And
I don't know.
then
You just read it quickly. I don't know what you're on about.
yeah,
What's your
well,
point with that verse?
this is talking about divorced women shall wait by themselves for 3 periods. It's talking about the periods. Now I want to show you the next
Three
one.
months.
3 periods, monthly, like monthly cycle courses. Now this is chapter 33, verse 49. It says, "O
Okay,
believers." Hold on. It says, "O believers, when you marry believing women and then divorce them before you touch them, you have no period to reckon against them." Okay. So you know that when you marry somebody and you divorce, you need to wait 3 cycles, unless you
three
have not
months, right, for her to have three periods.
unless you have not
So she's
touched them.
not pregnant when you divorce her.
Okay, you gotta listen to what I'm saying. Okay, unless you have touched them, unless you have touched them,
Unless you've
there,
had sex with her.
uh-huh. Unless you have touched them, like okay, when you marry believing women and then divorce them before you touch them, you have no period to reckon against them. Okay, so in chapter 2, 228, it says you have to wait 3 monthly cycles. Here it says if you have not touched them, there is no waiting period for you. So if you go
Yeah.
to so if you go to 65:4, okay, where it says, all right, if you have doubt, Their period shall be 3 months, and those who have not menstruated as yet. So basically, what this verse is about is to explain, because the story goes as this: the hadith, right, says this, that when chapter 228 was revealed about the waiting period, Muhammad did not give the ruling for those who are who have not menstruated yet, who are pregnant, or they are in menopause. So then Muhammad revealed, by Allah, whatever, revealed the verse that for them this is the same as the waiting period for the others that you have married and you want the divorce. Problem is that why would you need 3 months for waiting if you have not touched them? That's where chapter 33, verse
Because
49
there
comes in.
might be an issue,
No,
right?
no,
There
no.
might
That's
be
where
an issue.
no, no, no. That's
Okay,
where
well, I mean, well, you
33.
asked me the question.
No,
Why don't you just let me
I'm
answer?
explaining it. I'm explaining it to you. That's how 33 verse 49 came in, where it says that you you don't need to wait unless you have touched them. So basically it's implying that you can have sex with prepubescent girls in this chapter of divorce that you talk about. And again, in this chapter, nowhere in this chapter does it say that a woman has the right to divorce.
Well, I'm going to imply that the woman has a right to divorce.
By what standards?
My standard, all right?
Your standard. Okay, so
Yeah, because
basically,
secular Quranism is my interpretation, right? I have to keep reminding you, I'm not following their interpretation. It is my interpretation.
it's not
So that it
there.
is suitable
Claire,
for the
Claire.
West. Do you understand? So
No, I
you simply say,
no
oh,
no
they don't do it like this. They don't interpret it like you. No, I don't
Claire.
give a
This is not they or them, whatever, who you wanna just scapegoat and saying they have the wrong interpretation. This is what the Quran says.
yes. So what's the problem then? So I'm saying my explanation for the verse talking about divorce for women who have not yet menstruated. I explained what the situation must have been, that a woman. Not even a woman because she hasn't menstruated. A female who has not but
It's a
begun to
child.
menstruate. No,
It's a
okay,
child.
you go interrupting me again.
It's a
So
child.
I've explained a female who has not yet menstruated
It's a
would
child.
be sent early would be sent early to the household of her future husband because the parents will think, well, she's nearly there. She's already 15, soon she'll be 16. She's bound to menstruate anytime soon. We'll just send her early so she can get used to the ways of her husband to be in the household of her future husband, right? That is what they think. So they sent her early, and obviously, before she has menstruated, she's not supposed to be having sex with her husband. The husband is
But
waiting.
Claire, this is Claire. Okay, Claire.
I mean,
Why?
what is the problem with this explanation? Are you denying that
Because
certain factors
it
existed?
has nothing to do with what the Quran says. Why would you even wanna emphasize the Quran if you go against what Allah's perfect words actually say?
I don't understand your question.
Why would you advocate to implement Quranic law if you disagree with Allah's perfect words
I
and
don't
making?
disagree. I'm
Yes, you are.
trying to
Yes, you are. No,
explain
no.
to you. I am
You.
trying to explain to
No,
you
Claire,
what the purpose
Claire.
of the verse is.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna mute you. What you're doing is ad libbing into Allah's perfect words and making up your own shit of what Allah says when we can clearly see on the page right here what it says.
So that verse says that women who have not yet menstruated, it implies that women who have not yet menstruated are sent early. Okay, it's not women, it's females who have not yet
It's
menstruated.
children. Say it. Say
Females who
it's
have not yet
children.
menstruated,
Say it.
children,
Say it's children.
children, if you wish. So this female who has not yet menstruated is sent early to the household of her future husband. Do
Where
you
does it say
understand?
that? Where
Do
does
you
it say that?
understand? Or
Where
do
does it
you
say that?
do you
Where
deny
does it
that
say that?
there
Where
was
does it
such
say
a
that?
practice? Why do you keep talking over me? I'm
Where
just
does it
saying,
say?
do you
No,
deny that there
I'm
was such a
speaking over you because you're full of shit. Where does it say what you say it says? Go ahead.
I have told you what the reason for it is. You refuse to accept it. So,
Where do you find that
if you
reason?
say that all I'm doing is talking shit, then prove to me that there was never such a practice of sending a female who has not yet menstruated early to the household of her future husband.
Oh, absolutely. I can prove that to you.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Show me the link.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will show you it right now. I'm going to show it to you right now.
And in
Absolutely. I
any
agree with
case,
you.
it's
No,
irrelevant
no,
in,
hold on. I agree with you that this practice was absolutely done in Muhammad's lifetime and done by Muhammad himself. Narrated Aisha. The Prophet married her when she was 6 years old and consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. So there's a proof that yes, this happened. Problem here
great,
is
great. Okay, fine.
problem here is that this is still in practice today because people who go
Where
by
is
the
it in
Quran
practice today? Where is it in practice today?
in Afghanistan, for example, in Iran.
Oh, really?
Oh
Could we
yeah.
have some, links about, the child marriage still taking place? I believe in Iran, the age of marriage is 18.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Let's see.
But in any case, child marriage is a feature of poverty. So, I mean, the reason why you would send your daughter early before she has even menstruated to her future husband's household is because you're too poor to even feed her. So that's why you send her early.
Sharia-based Iranian law states that the legal age for marriage is 13 for girls and 15 for boys. But
Okay, I don't know what
marriages,
link you are. I mean,
this
it's
is
probably
girls,
some Islamophobic website, right?
no, this is girls, not bride.org. It goes worldwide about all where all girls are married off at a young age and have implement and talks about why these things happen, right? Not just in Muslim countries but all across the world. It even talks about it in America. But when you actually look at the causes in Muslim land, okay, in Muslim countries, you will see that it's always based on religion and Sharia. So Sharia-based Iranian law states that the legal age for marriage is 13 for girls and 15 for boys, but marriages can still be carried out at a younger age with the consent of fathers and permission from court judges. This has enabled a culture whereby child marriage is considered somewhat socially acceptable. Then we have family honor. In some parts of the countries, family marry their young daughters to improve their position in the tribes. Girls are also married early to prevent them from entering relationships and dishonoring the family. Violence against women and girls. In 2023, Samira Sebzian, a victim of child marriage at the age of 15, became the 800th victim to be executed by the Iranian government. At the age of 19, after years of being a victim of domestic abuse and child marriage, she was sentenced for the murder of her husband. There you go.
Okay, well, under secular Quranism, the age of marriage will be 18. So the parties to the marriage
Well, then you go
will
against
have
the
full
Quran.
legal capacity.
Then you go against the Quran.
No, it doesn't
Yeah.
say you have to marry, you have to have child marriages.
It doesn't stipulate any age. And the only
Yeah,
thing
the
that you
idea
have,
is that you only marry a female when she's
the
capable of
only,
bearing
Claire,
children.
Claire, the only thing you have to go by is Muhammad's example of marriage with Aisha. That's what you got as a reference point.
Child betrothals were not exclusive to Muslims. The
So
Europeans
so
practiced.
again, what about the others, right? That's like Claire. I
No,
don't
I've
care about
already
the
said
others.
that under secular Quranism, 18 would be the marriage, would be the
Then
earliest you
then,
can.
then again,
All
you go
right.
against the Quran because
No, because it
they're
doesn't say that
uh,
you must marry children if they are
but it doesn't
younger
give
than
you
18.
but
It
it
doesn't
doesn't
say
give you
that, does it?
an age limit. It
Well,
nowhere does it say because here's
it
the
doesn't
thing.
have a minimum age.
Yes, exactly. And when it says in 65:4 that you are allowed to divorce prepubescent girls, that means that when you set an age of 18, you go against what the Quran says.
No, because it's not compulsory to marry prepubescent girls. I've already explained to
I
you
understand
that
that, but
when
there's
girls are
no.
sent
Okay, okay, okay. No, no. Sorry. I understand that, but what would be compulsory is to set an age limit because that's not advocated for in the Quran. It goes against of what Allah said. So you're limiting Muslims and non-Muslims from Allah's perfect words because in Allah's perfect words in the Quran, it clearly says that you can divorce even pre-pubescent girls. So setting up an age limit means that you're doing something that Allah has not described.
well, that's how I'm going to interpret it under secular Quranism. I won't be
Ugh.
approving of with females who haven't menstruated marrying. Okay, and you can say whatever you like. Oh, the Muslims don't like it; they want their child marriage. And I'm saying secular
That's no.
Quranism
My
is
problem is Claire.
non-Muslim Westerners, so I don't care what they
Claire.
say.
Claire. My biggest issue is that you say that you want Quranic secularism, but you go against everything the Quran says and interpret any way you
No,
like.
I
And
disagree because I have there's no verse in the Quran that says children have to be married by 6 or 7 or 8 or 9.
no, they go
There
by
is no
Muhammad's example.
express
They go by
prohibition.
Muhammad's example to understand what
No,
what
no,
is a good age.
I'm going to ignore the Hadith where it contradicts the Quran.
But it doesn't contradict the Quran. You know what? Actually, that's a good place to start this because you say that you go against the Hadith that contradicts the Quran. How does this contradict the Quran from 65:4 that we just read? How does this
Well,
contradict it?
if you really want, child marriage and you want to reintroduce it, fine. But don't expect me to agree
I
with you.
don't, Claire, don't gaslight me. I don't want it, and that's why I'm against the Quran and anything that is remotely connected to it. You, when you say that you want to put single parents as sex offenders together with with rapists and, and saying that you want the Quran to be a framework, what you're doing is actually taking away the sex offenders, the pedophiles and rapists as sex offenders and saying this should be the norm and it
Would
should be okay in
legalize rape.
society.
Did I say I would legalize rape or
Well, we went over this with the
underage
Quran,
sex?
right?
No, no,
No,
I'm very firm.
yes, because you want to take away statutory rape. You don't think that's a thing.
No, I never said that. When did I say I would?
Yes, you did because you think that it's okay when a woman is required to have sex with her husband no matter what. That women
I
should
don't
be able
think
to
you
do that.
understand what statutory rape is.
Then
Marital
what?
rape.
Then what is it?
In the UK, there is an offence. Marital rape is an offence, and I'm
Right.
not abolishing it.
But then you go against what the Quran teaches.
Okay, what does the Quran teach?
Uh, we just
Men
went
can
over
rape
this
women
434 of the
any
Quran.
time. No, it
434 of the
actually
Quran.
gives women a week off if they're menstruating. Did you know that?
434 of the
It,
Quran. Right. What does this again? We went over this. You know what I think is amazing here? I'm a man and I have to teach a woman, a grown woman, about women's rights. It's
I'm
crazy.
I'm very aware of my rights. So what is your point? 434. That's a wife beating verse, right?
Yeah, it's not just that. It's that a woman has no right to say no to her husband, meaning that statutory
No, it
rape
doesn't
under
say.
Quranic. No, I'm gonna say this, meaning that statutory rape, according to the Quran, is not a thing. It erases the law because a woman has no right to say no to her husband, meaning that statutory rape would be the norm, would not be a crime.
Statutory rape. What is
Yeah, go ahead.
statutory? What is statutory rape? I
You
don't
tell
think
me.
you. No, no,
Yeah, you say
you
I
keep
don't
talking
understand
about
it.
it, and I keep
You
saying
say I don't
it doesn't,
understand it, so
it
explain it.
doesn't mean what you think it means,
Okay,
and you
so
keep
explain it.
talking over me.
So go ahead and
So,
explain it then.
what do you mean by statutory rape?
No, you
And I
explain
kept
it.
correcting you and saying you must mean marital rape. Do you know the
Okay.
difference between marital rape and statutory rape?
No, explain the difference.
So, statutory rape is when you are guilty of having sex with somebody underage, below the age of consent, even though
No,
they
that's
agreed to have sex.
pedophilia. That's pedophilia.
It's the same area of law. Okay, so that's statutory rape, and marital rape is the wife having a right of action against her husband if he rapes her, right? And there used to be a time when women had no right. In the UK, there was no such thing as marital rape,
Mm.
but now
Okay,
there
my
is.
bad. Yeah, you're right. You're actually right. My bad. So I mean, yes, I mean marital rape.
Okay, so I'm not proposing to abolish marital rape because I think women have the right to say no. And I was beginning to tell you that,
Actually,
as
hold on,
husband and wife.
hold on.
Oh my God. Just let me finish my sentence. I'm not going to take a long time. So I'm
Okay,
saying,
go ahead.
do you agree that husband and wife have a right to have sex with each other or not?
Of course. I just want to do this, right? So this is Wikipedia. In common law jurisdiction, statutory rape is non-forcibly sexual activity in which one of the individuals is below the age of consent, the age required to legal consent to the behavior. Although it usually refers to adults engaging in sexual contact. Oh, okay. With minors under the age of consent is a generic term, and very few jurisdictions use the actual term statutory rape in the language of statutes. In statutory rape, overt force or threat is usually not present. Statutory rape laws presume coercion because a minor or mentally disabled adult is legally incapable of giving consent to the act. Okay, okay. So, yeah, I think you're right. I was thinking of, I guess, coercion.
Marital rape. Look up marital rape.
Yeah. No, I think that coercion and marital rape, like, sure, you want to call it strictly marital rape, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So, marital rape, right, would be would not be a thing under the Quranic law.
Nor under Christian law. But
I don't
anyway, in the
care. I don't care
UK,
about
it is an
Christians.
offence, and I do
I
not
don't care
intend
about
to
Christians.
abolish it.
I don't care about Christians. So you here's the thing, Claire. What I have a problem with is you want to advocate for the Quran to have Sharia under it, but you go against everything the Quran says. And you
I
say
do.
you want to have marital law still in place. You want to say statutory rape should also be a thing that you should punish for, but the Quran erases both of these. It
No, it
erases
doesn't.
pedophilia. It erases rape as a whole.
No, it doesn't.
Rape is not a consent. Rape is not a concept within Islam. In fact, Claire, Claire, to prove my point, show me where it says rape in the Quran.
It doesn't mention rape. I know that. But
Yeah.
anyway, we know that um, Muslims in their Sharia have penalties for rapists. It is
No,
death.
no, they have the same penalty as you advocate for, and that is for the idolatrous, right? Sorry, not for the adulterers. For fornicators and adultery, they have they have they have laws against those things. They don't have laws against rapists. because rape is not a thing within Islam. Because if it was a thing, then marital rape would be a thing. Raping minors would be a thing, right? Like there'd be a
Are you
law, but
saying Muslims have
there's not.
no law against rape?
They don't have a no. They don't have a law against
They
rape.
have a very developed system that is that
They
as
don't.
coercive zina, as hiraba, right? I mean, they have quite, and the
No,
additional rulings
no,
is quite sophisticated, I would say.
no. It's not because it goes under the law of adultery and fornication. Never ever is it mentioned about rape in the home, for example, like marital rape. Not nor is it right where the when the child marriages take place that it's considered rape by default, statutory rape, as you were talking about, right? It's not considered as rape at all. So you can't say that it's a double system. It's a backward system, and you want to again promote the Quranic Sharia for non-Muslims. It should be applied for all, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say that you want the statutory rape to be in place, you want marital rape to be in place, but then say that you want to enforce the Quran. And by the way, again, I think it's crazy that you think that single parents are on the same level as these rapists.
Well, there are obviously different forms of sexual offences, and some are more serious than others. But there can be,
How okay,
minor
again,
sexual
how
offences
is it
and serious sexual offences.
how is it even a remote sexual offense to have a child outside of marriage?
Chapter 24, verse 2.
Again, how is according to you, how is it a sexual offense?
Because you're having sex outside marriage. You're, you're having sex without a marriage license.
So you
I
think
mean,
that's
I think people understand that, once upon a time, people generally accepted that they were not supposed to have sex before marriage.
Mhm. So you think it's okay to lash single parents?
To discourage bastardy, yes.
Mhm.
Because you will find that most convicted prisoners come from the fatherless homes of their unmarried mothers. So
Would
I
you
don't
be
know why
okay? Would you
you're
be okay
concerned
with?
about that.
Would you be okay with lashing um, men who marry prepubescent girls?
There is no specific.
I'm asking you. Would you be okay with
Well,
that?
okay, it would be illegal anyway to marry a woman,
Would you
a
be
female
okay with
unmarried.
lashing? Would you be okay with lashing pedophiles?
Sure,
Mm. But then you
but
don't.
if you're
But
saying,
mm,
I mean, nobody was saying that Muhammad was a sort of typical paedophile having sex with um, somebody he's not married to. They're only questioning the
marriage when she was 9 years
who
old.
was his wife, actually, who
She was
was the
9 years old.
to him,
She
and who
was
was,
9 years old.
yeah, I know. But did you know that in the state of Delaware, in
I don't give.
America, oh, you don't care.
No, no,
You
no.
don't care.
Okay, go finish that.
If
Finish that. I
you're
want to
Asian
actually respond to that.
people,
Go ahead. Respond to that. I want to respond to that. What did you say about Delaware?
well, look up the age of consent in Delaware
Yeah, no,
in
no.
1871.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1871. Have you have you seen that show To Catch a Predator?
To catch a predator, no.
Okay. Yeah. So To Catch a Predator was a show with Chris Hansen, who went after pedophiles. Right, he lure a trap for them and set up trap and then caught them on camera.
Hmm.
This was in America, so whatever you want to say about the problems of America, the fact that you have a show like that is actually a good thing because that means that society does not accept it. I wonder if you could make a show like that in any Muslim country. I would love to see that. But of course, I don't think that Muslims would like that show very much because they would be infringing on their rights to rape children. Claire, you say that you want to lash pedophiles. If you want to do that, then you cannot enforce Quran and Sharia because those two things do not go hand in hand. They contradict each other.
What do you mean?
Okay. How? I mean, we've been over this so many times now. It's like talking to a wall. Where does it say anywhere that if you have sex with a child that you should be lashed in the Quran or the Hadith or any
No,
scholar out
I
there?
agree. It doesn't say that. But if
Uh
you
huh.
have sex with someone you're not married to and they produce offspring
So it's
who
okay. So
are,
it's okay to have sex with a child if you're married.
no.
But that's what the Quran says. That's
Okay,
what
well, look,
Muhammad
I've
did.
already said it's not going to happen under my form of Sharia. So you can say,
Yes,
oh, they did
yes,
this,
and
they
because
did
your
that.
Sharia goes
Like, yeah,
against
okay.
everything.
The only reason,
Your Sharia goes against everything the Quran says. You contradict yourself by every fucking statement
no,
you make.
I disagree. Okay, I disagree because, and
I
I
don't
know
give a
I'm not
fuck if you
talking to a
disagree.
lawyer.
Your mental case. I'm showing it to
I
you.
mean,
I'm showing
there's
it to
nothing in
you
the Quran
on blank
that says
paper.
that women shouldn't be allowed to divorce their husbands.
What?
There's nothing in the Quran that says women cannot divorce their husbands.
Yes, it doesn't because you know why? Because they're supposed to be obedient to their husbands and serve their every need. And if you
You know,
feel
but if they
arrogant,
decide that they don't want to be married to him anymore, they can
yeah,
divorce him.
then they are disobedient. No, no,
It
no,
exists. It
no, no,
exists. Divorce it.
no, because women are supposed to be obedient. They are not allowed to divorce their husband. If they want a divorce, that means they're disobedient and you can slap them.
They'll
Sorry,
divorce
go
you.
ahead.
They'll divorce you.
Okay. Again, where in
Don't
the
say that
Quran,
there are no
Claire,
divorced
Claire,
Muslim men or
Claire,
women.
where
Come
in the
on.
Quran, Claire, where in the Quran does it say that that a woman has the right to divorce her husband?
It doesn't, but anyway, it's well established that Muslim women do divorce their husbands.
No, they don't. And by the way, you say that you don't take the hadith that contradicts the Quran, but you contradict the Quran all the time. Think about it. Just for 2 seconds, put your two brain cells together. Think about this. It says that a woman has to be obedient, and if the man fears rebellion, he can strike her. How the hell would somebody who is forced to be obedient to the husband's every need have the right to divorce him?
Well, you have to ask all these divorced Muslim women, but they
Uh,
do seem to have the right. I can't
no,
explain it.
no.
I
Okay,
can't
I can.
explain
Okay,
it.
Claire, I can explain it to you very easily. Okay, so what happens is that if a woman wants a divorce, she has to go to a judge. She has to have witnesses that can say that yes, this man is not good for her, and the judge then declares her case if it's valid for divorce.
Fair enough.
Those cases are very rare in between, and usually lets the husband off the hook because again, one man equals two women, right? And if the man is displeased with the woman, he can just triple talak her on the spot and she can do jack shit about it. A woman needs a case, meaning, for example, that the man strikes her in front of everybody under Ramadan iftar, and and the whole family sees that he's unhinged. Then, in that scenario, this hypothetical scenario that almost never happens, then they can go to a judge together and say that okay, like this guy is from a bad family, whatever, whatever. Never ever is it, you know what, I think, like in the West, when you say, honey, I think we are drifting apart, and I don't think really this is working out. We should actually file for divorce and think about our options. That never happens.
Well, we know that there have been quite a few changes in divorce law in Muslim countries.
Can you say that again?
Divorce is different in different Muslim countries.
Can you
Well, it's
show me?
true. I don't know why you're sighing and pretending I'm talking nonsense.
Can you show me a Muslim country where the woman has the right to divorce her husband on equal terms as the husband has to her wife, to his wife?
I am looking at a list of ways that men and women can divorce each other. Husband initiated divorce. Woman initiated divorce. So I agree with you that she can't just divorce without giving a reason. She has to go to court.
Did you listen to my question? Can you show me in any Muslim country where the wife has equal rights to divorce her husband as the husband has to his wife?
In Egypt.
In Egypt.
Mhm.
Mm. Now, Egypt is not strictly Sharia. Can you, like, because they have different court systems. So you have Sharia,
Oh,
and you
exactly.
have
Every different country they have
hold
different
hold, hold on.
systems.
No, 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 no. Let me finish. They have Sharia for Muslims. They also have Christian court for Christians, and then they have high court and state that is separate from Sharia. But most Muslims, they use the local qadi, the local judge, for their Sharia trials when it comes to uh, family law and stuff like that. In these cases, that local judge, that local qadi, uh, follows the Sharia, and the women do not have the same right as men. The only time it will be severe, that will be under the state law, under that court. But most cases do not even go that far.
Okay, so different Muslim countries have different kinds of divorce laws, blah blah
No, but
blah.
clear. This
And
I'm telling you Sharia here, right? I'm telling you under the Sharia. Like you try to
yes,
bring up
so
Egypt.
I
You try
I
to no. You try to bring up Egypt as like a good
you
role
asked me a
model.
question and I answered it. I'm sorry you don't like the
Ye-
answer.
yes, because you don't know what you're saying. I'm explaining it to you that no, in
You
Egypt
the question
actually,
you asked me was, is there any Muslim country that allows a woman to initiate divorce
uh,
without going through the
and I, I
court? And
and
I
I
said
just
the
showed you,
answer is
and I just showed you that in Egypt is not the case because they follow the Sharia, where the women will not have that right.
it says in Egypt reforms allow women to seek call through courts without proving fault since 2000. That was 25 years ago.
Okay, what was my explanation again?
I don't know. I mean, you always
So
raise
perhaps
these
perhaps you
inventions.
should listen to the
We
explanation
have
then.
already established that different Muslim
No,
countries.
no, no. We have not established that. Listen to what I'm saying again. In Egypt, there are different court systems. You have the state one that is secular. You have Christian courts. You have Sharia courts. You have different courts for different people. And Muslims go to the local judges, local qadi that rules by Sharia. In those courts, women do not have the same rights as men. The only time a woman would have the same right as men if the case goes to state law, to state court, and those are very rare in between. So it's not the same.
Okay,
Right.
So I'm not going to follow the bad example of Egypt, am I?
Okay,
You're always going to cite the worst case scenarios, and then you're going to
you
accuse me
said
of doing
Egypt.
exactly that.
You're the one who said
You know,
Egypt.
that's just how you roll, right? Like,
You said
just find the
Egypt.
worst example and then accuse me
You
of
s-
one.
you said Egypt, not me. Okay, Claire. I have another question. How would Sharia and UK common law go hand in hand? Can you explain that?
How would Sharia and what go hand in hand?
And British common law go hand in hand.
Well, obviously they'd have to change the legal and political landscape for that to happen, right? I mean, it's not going to
But
happen tomorrow.
again, Sharia contradicts the freedom of the common law. It takes away criminality from rapists and pedophiles.
I mean, like, are you saying Muslims don't consider rape a crime? Are you really saying that?
What I'm saying is that the Sharia does not consider it as a crime.
Oh, really? I think the
No.
penalty is quite severe. It is death for rapists
Yeah,
under
again,
Sharia.
uh,
I don't know why you're pretending that, ooh, Muslim men just go around randomly raping women and nothing bad happens to them.
Claire, I think we established already that you're allowed to marry children under Sharia and under common law. All right, under common law, the law that you live under right now, if you marry a child and have sex with a child, you are considered a criminal, a rapist, a pedophile, and you will go to jail for it. Now, under Sharia, this will not happen. So when you say that,
About
oh,
the age of
rapist,
consent.
no, don't speak over me here. When you say that rapists exist in Islam under Sharia and they get punished, no, because the understanding of rape is clearly different in Islam. I told you already that rape does not exist as a concept within Islam. Why? Because it never talks about it, not once. So when they have to come up with laws for rape under Sharia during modern times, they implement it together with adulterers and fornicators, just like you are doing with 424. Sorry, 24:2. 24:2 of lashing people for infidelity, fornication. But again, all right, you let child marriages get off the hook. You get rapists off the hook.
I am.
You get marital rapists off the hook because you think
I
this
am
is a
not.
bigger issue.
I never proposed that.
Yes, you
You're
are.
again. You're saying I would.
No, if you promote Sharia by the Quran as black on paper, black and white on paper as we read it, you absolutely change what we understand by rape. And
You're
you
not a
think,
lawyer. You're not a lawyer.
well, neither are you.
I am a lawyer.
No, you're not.
I, I've actually passed my exams.
You never practiced
And,
one
and
day
you
in
don't
your
know the difference between marital and statutory rape. So,
right.
I mean,
Yes, and I corrected myself from that. I said you were right. Now you said you passed the bar, but you have never practiced law ever in your life. I would be actually surprised if anybody in when it comes to the law system would ever come to you for any guidance because
I don't claim to be a divorce lawyer.
you clearly what you do is you put things upside down and you think that the Sharia and the Quran is a better system for society than uh, what you have studied for many years. Because I mean, to become a lawyer or even getting the degree, you say, takes about 4 to 5 years. So I think it's crazy how you would say that you have a great understanding of law, but yet you spit on it and reverse everything. And I have to come here and tell you about cases and incidents and tell you about the slippery slope argument does not hold up that you try to enforce here and say that somehow this is equal to rapist, which is not. And again,
No,
under the
I
Sharia
don't even know what
and
you're talking about.
shut the fuck up. And under the Sharia, It's actually even worse because if you're gonna follow the Quran as it is, you say that marrying children is not as a big offense as being a single parent. That is what you're advocating for.
I didn't say that because
That
there's
is what you're
statutory rape.
advocating for.
There's statutory rape. But anyway, you're
Clear,
confused.
clear. If you say that somehow you want to implement the Quran and Sharia and then go against everything that is uncomfortable for you to address,
Like
and,
what?
because you have no
I've
logic
already
in what you're
addressed all
saying.
those things. You're just
No,
saying it's
yes,
impossible.
you, because you're going against everything the Quran says, and you just want to
No,
be
I'm
convenient.
not. I'm
In your
not.
in your your book, in your book by 8 chapters, you reference two verses, 24:2 and 256. You think you're gonna build up a law system by the Quran by
Yeah,
these
yeah, I
verses?
will. I will
Really?
build
But
it
because
when I
everything else,
get
because
somebody
everything
who's
else, because
actually.
everything, shut up. Everything else you have showed me, everything else you have showed me is
And you're not a
absolutely,
lawyer.
well, neither are you. Again, everything
No,
you have showed, no, everything you have
I know
showed
more
me.
law than you.
Yeah, well, you don't show. You, so it doesn't seem like you are actually showing me that you know more. You're contradicting yourself every single time. Look,
I have
if
not
you're gonna,
contradicted myself.
yes, you are. If you're gonna tell me that the Quran somehow is a good system, better than the common
I
law,
do.
then okay, no, stay muted. Stay muted. If you're gonna tell me that somehow the Quran is better than the common law, then you cannot have it both ways. You cannot contradict yourself by stating, and just because it's uncomfortable to you, you're gonna say that somehow I'm just gonna implement it my way, and I don't even understand what I'm saying, and it's implied, but I can't really show you why it's implied or give you reasons why it is applied. If you are a lawyer, then you understand. Okay, I'm just gonna move you down on the stage because I don't want to keep muting you. If you're a lawyer, then you would actually understand what it means to have a good case and good arguments to implement the law, to change a law, and understanding the law in practice. You don't understand jack shit of this. You don't understand how a law is implemented. You don't understand how the Quran should be implemented. You don't understand how common law is implemented. You don't understand anything of this. And the logic of a lawyer can absolutely be borrowed to the Quran and understand why Sharia uh, is practiced the way it is, as repulsive as it is, because you understand cause and effect and how it actually comes together. You just cherry pick two verses and you want to have Sharia in the UK by two verses and then say, well, it's okay that these two go hand in hand even if they contradict each other because you're uncomfortable with it. And again, I showed you by your own understanding when you say that, oh, these things happened in the past with 65.4. I said, yes, this is a great example. I agree with it. But then you say, oh, this somehow goes against the Quran. I think this is, I go against those hadith that contradicts the Quran. Guess what? This does not contradict the Quran. And you know what? I'm going to bring you up because the next thing I want to talk about here is which hadith are actually contradicting the Quran. Go ahead. It's your turn to talk. I'll be quiet now.
So I am saying that under secular Quranism, the age of marriage will be 18. So all that you go on about child marriage will not arise. And also, before you can marry, you have to agree a marriage contract. And when you agree a marriage contract, you will know that no full divorce
Clear.
is.
I don't want to
Oh,
talk about
here
this
we go
anymore.
again.
No, I don't want to talk about this anymore because you clearly, like, it's like talking to a wall. Let's go to the next topic because this is starting to piss me off. Which hadith
Well, it's
contradicts the
starting to
Quran?
piss me off too.
Yeah, well, that's good. Which hadith
Well,
contradicts the
well, I'm
Quran?
glad you're being pissed off.
Yeah, which hadith contradicts the Quran?
The one about stoning adulterers.
How does it contradict the Quran?
Because the Quran doesn't mention stoning at all.
but it talks about punishment for adulterers. It talks
I,
about
I would I would
it talks
I
about
would make it a
punishment.
hundred lashes.
It also talks about punishment for the people of Lut, right?
Yeah, I know they have this
Mhm.
retarded shit about, oh, the rocks and brimstone
Mhm.
would fall on the
Okay, Claire.
Sodomites and Gomorrans.
Yeah,
Okay,
Claire.
that was divine punishment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
So
Claire,
I'm
you
saying the penalty for any sex offender would be corporal punishment.
okay? Amazing corporal punishment, huh? So again,
As
you're
described in
okay.
chapter 24, verse 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't say corporal punishment, but it's funny because you
It's
say
implied. I mean,
it's
what are
not
lashes but
implied.
corporal
It's not
punishment?
implied. It's not implied. But here's the funny thing: if you're gonna say that punishment is implied, and you can actually uh, tweak it a bit and say, well, it's okay to kill them right away. How the hell does stoning people to death for adultery contradict the Quran?
I don't want to stone people to death.
I
Okay,
don't give a fuck
that's
what
my
you want
little
to.
well, that's my
Claire,
little preference.
Claire, I don't
But
give a
what I
fuck.
know,
I don't give a fuck what you want or not. I'm asking a
yeah,
question.
yeah. So why are you
How
in,
how does
on?
it contradict the Quran by your own
Why
admission?
imply?
By your own admission.
Why im,
By your own admission. How does it contradict the Quran? Go ahead.
How does what contradict the Quran?
How does stoning people for adultery contradict the Quran?
Because the sexual offense of having extramarital sex is already in chapter 24, verse 2.
But it doesn't again. But it doesn't say behead them. You said I wanted to do it. So if you yourself can tweak it and say no, it should be death. How the hell then does the hadith to stone people to death for the same fucking thing contradict it? When in that case, you are contradicting the Quran by your own admission. Then you are contradicting the Quran. You see how the logic does not add up. That's why I'm wondering if you actually have any fucking law degree in the first place.
Are we agreed that there is no mention of stoning in the Quran?
Yes, we agree on that.
Okay. So, but we know that there is a verse in the Quran, chapter 24, verse 2, that prescribes 100 lashes for extramarital
And you
sex.
and you just said that you're okay with beheading them. Now,
No, I didn't
if
say
you
anything about that.
you just said it,
You
you
just
just said
make
it.
things up.
What are
There's
you
no
talking about?
need. There's no
You just
need.
you
I think
just you you just don't lie to me. You just said
did we even talk about beheading? Did we?
yes. You just said it.
No.
Capital punishment.
It just means execution.
Okay, fine. Execution. Capital punishment. Right? You okay? So does that how does that like if you have a verse sorry, if you have a hadith where it says that you stone people to death and you're okay with capital punishment, even though the same verse that you advocate for right here does not say that, how then can you say with a straight fucking face that the hadith contradicts the Quran? If in that case, that means that
Be-
you are contradicting. No, in that case, it means that you are contradicting yourself.
There is no mention of capital punishment for people who
But
have extramarital sex in
but
the
you just
Quran.
said, that you want capital punishment. So that means that either
Corporal punishment. I said corporal punishment.
you said capital,
Well, I'm pretty sure I said corporal
you
punishment
said
because we were
capital,
because we were talking about chapter 24, verse
you
2.
said capital,
If
whatever.
I did, then I misspoke, but I meant corporal punishment because we're talking about chapter 24, verse 2.
Okay, Claire, do you are you okay with killing fornicators?
No,
No.
that's the
Okay.
whole point.
Okay. Good. Okay. So then I understand. So the,
There's no need to keep misrepresenting me. You
okay,
can
you said
let
capital.
me make
Okay,
my
but
point.
it's okay if you misspoke. That's fine. You misspoke. Okay, so you're not for killing people. That's fine. That's fine. That's good. So
Well,
so if there is a prescribed punishment in 25 in 24 2, stoning people to death, then right, you say it's a contradiction.
yes.
And is it because like they stoning them to death? Is that it?
Yes, because it doesn't. If it wants some really horrible punishment, but
Mm.
for a sexual offence, while having already meant defined the punishment in a verse, you can't just sort of go beyond it and say, oh, we have to kill them, because the the punishment has already been defined and described. And also that verse has a number of different translations. So under the Quran corpus, um, they okay, there's seven translations of it. Okay, 24:2. If you go to that one, you'll see a number of
Yeah, no,
translations.
no, I'm with you. That's not what I'm asking. But what I feel is kind of odd is just like, look, you say that this one, because you have punishment, right, described exactly how it is. But there is another verse in the Quran as well that talks about punishment for those. Uh, where is it? 5:33. Yeah, there is penalty for those anybody who spreads corruption, right? And this is a very very severe punishment. So
This is a crucifixion one,
yeah,
yes?
yeah, yeah. Well, you will die from the crucifixion. Like they be killed or crucified, or that their hands and feet be cut off from opposite sides, or that they be exiled from land. Right? And it's a very vague here. The penalty for wage war against Allah and His Messenger is try upon earth to cause corruption. Right? No, actually, it says strive upon earth corruption. So it's a very vague term. Like anybody can be guilty of it, and say that they can be killed, that they be killed, crucified, hands and feet be cut off from the side. So from this standpoint, all right, from this standpoint, because 24:4 is only for the adulterers, right? The fornicators. So when you
24:2.
24:2, yeah, 24:2. So when you say that the hadith contradicts the Quran, well, no, it doesn't, because 533 actually implements even greater punishment depending on the corruption, and that could be anything, and it depends, of course, of the one in power. So it
Okay,
depends on the
let's
one
have
in
a look at
power.
the crucifixion verse.
No, 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 no. It depends on the one in power to determine how severe the punishment should be, and what the
I mean,
offense
you could
is.
you could actually argue that there is no need for these uh, punishments, because it actually says the penalty for those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger, and it's like, well, Muhammad is dead,
No, but
so
but it
there's no
also,
need
hold
for
on.
that
It also
kind of
says,
punishment.
and strive corruption,
That's how
right?
I would
Strive
interpret it.
strive corruption upon the earth, right? That's, what fitna is.
Oppression.
No, fitna is corruption. Fitna, spreading corruption. That could be anything. That could be just a woman going outside without a burqa, or a hijab, or it could
Well, it
be
could mean
anybody who's
sedition.
it could mean anybody who speaks up against Islam.
Yes, sedition. Sedition is pretty serious. It means you want you're a rebel, a revolutionary. You want to overthrow the government.
Yeah, but it doesn't even need to be that. It could be just anybody who speaks ill about Islam or say I don't agree with
Okay, I
Islam.
mean, I mean, obviously, I don't want to crucify everyone,
But
who
but but
just
okay.
criticizes Muhammad or anything stupid like
It
that.
says be killed, that they be killed. They can. It means, it implies that they can be killed. So Okay, you know it's funny because you say you have a law degree. You should know that when you read a law, that every word in that law matters. So you
Yeah, and
cannot.
I'm reading it,
Yeah.
but you obviously want your own bit
So it
interpretation,
says they can be
so you can
killed.
say,
That they
"Oh,
be
it's all
killed.
so horrible and disgusting," and
No,
I'm
what I'm
saying
trying,
you can interpret
Claire.
it in a in,
No, no, no. Every word matters. So when it says that they can be killed, and then you have a hadith that says stone the adulterous to death, that means that does not contradict the Quran.
no, it does. You're not a lawyer,
How?
but I mean, you just carry on
Neither
saying
are you.
whatever you like.
Again, neither
I
are
have
you.
given you the rule, and I'm saying I
No,
will
you have
reject
not
the
given me the
hadith
rule.
where it
You
contradicts the
no,
Quran.
shut the fuck up. You have not given me the rule. You contradict yourself on every single point so far, and you say I'm not a lawyer. Well, neither the fuck are you because everything you say contradicts the mind of a law student. You don't know jack shit about fucking law.
My interpretation, I can explain it. You're obviously not accepting it because you have your axe to grind.
Claire, how? Okay, Claire, how would a woman even be able to explain the Quran to me when, according to the Quran itself, you are half brained, you are below men.
No, it doesn't say that. It says only in the matter of witnessing loan agreements would a woman's word be worth only half that of a man's.
And why is that?
It's just to keep them in their place, but it doesn't mean for everything else.
Okay, so when you have in the Quran, right, one man, two women, and then you have the Hadith with Muhammad explaining that women are deficient in religion and mind, that means that it does not contradict the Quran, right?
What? Okay, so you're saying because of that verse, Muslim men can just say in everything, the word of a woman is half that of a man. Yes, I'm aware that that is how they have chosen to interpret it. I am going to reject that kind of interpretation, and I think if
Who
Western
are you?
governments and
Who are
Westerners
you?
want to adopt it, they will favor my
Who
interpretation.
are you? Who are you as a woman? Who are you as a woman to reject any teachings and say that you know better when you can't even convince me, who you say is not a
Would you
lawyer,
say
that
that
you're
you're a reasonable person?
well more reasonable
I
than
don't
you?
think
And you know,
so. I mean, you've like already identified.
yeah, you know what I think? I think that you actually proved Muhammad right when Muhammad said that you're deficient in religion. Let's read this. Once Allah's messenger went out to the Musalla of Ida, or whatever, then he passed by the women and said, O women, give alms, as I have seen that majority of the dwellers of hellfire were you. They asked, Why is it so, O messenger? He replied, You curse frequently and are ungrateful to your husbands. I have not seen anyone more deficient in intelligence and religion than you. A cautious, sensible man could be led astray by some of you. The women asked, O Allah's messenger, what is deficiency in our religion in our intelligence and religion? He said, Is it not the evidence of two women equal to the witness of one man? Referencing the Quran. They replied in the affirmative. He said, This is the deficiency in her intelligence. Isn't it true that the woman can neither pray nor fast during her menses? The women replied in the affirmative. He said, This is the deficiency in her religion. So, you are basically confirming Muhammad when you make contradictory statement over and over and over.
I don't think people will understand your reasoning. You're not very good at explaining yourself, and you've already shown yourself to be
Really?
an Islamophobe. So your word will be
No,
questioned.
I am an Islamophobe, absolutely.
Yeah,
How many
so
Muslims
nobody's going to listen to
how
you.
many Muslims have you actually convinced that they should listen to a woman who doesn't even want to say that she's a Muslim but want to implement Quran, the Sharia?
Well, I'm just talking to, a lot of low-level Muslims who
Mm,
don't really get it.
mm.
So, eventually, I think there will be somebody senior who sees the utility of my ideas in giving Islam a makeover.
So this is the First Amendment. Congress shall not make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Now, how the hell is this equal to chapter 2, verse 226?
Oh, I'm saying that chapter 2, verse 256 protects freedom of belief, and the First Amendment also protects freedom of belief and speech.
Yeah, again, this is the First Amendment, right? I don't know if you can see it. Let me enlarge this. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. In chapter 2,
Yes.
256, it says, no compulsion is there in religion, restitute has become clear from error. So whosoever disbelieves in idols and believes in God has laid hold of the most firm handle. How are these two comparable with each other? Explain it.
Do you agree that the First Amendment supports freedom of belief and freedom of expression? Do you agree or not?
I agree.
Okay. So if chapter 2 verse 256 says there is no compulsion, then it means that you're not compelled to believe in stuff that you don't agree with.
Okay, again, let's see Sahih International here. There shall be no compulsion in the religion. The right course has become clear from the wrong. So whoever disbelieves in Tawhid and believes in Allah and has grasped the most trustworthy handhold will live with no break in it. Here we have the U.S. Constitution, the first part of the sentence. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Okay, how is this equal to 256?
It means if the First Amendment supports freedom of belief and freedom of religion, freedom of belief, then and
What does it
I mean,
say in the
why are you
first
not
fucking
saying
sentence? The first part of the sentence. What does it say?
Congress shall make no whatever,
Make? No,
no
read
law
it.
respecting. Yeah, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion,
There
meaning
you go.
our religion is, Scientology or whatever. So that is what it is saying.
Yeah, it also implements all religions, including Islam. So
Yeah, yeah, and I'm
Congress
saying
shall make
secular
no
Quranism is
law
not Islam.
respecting an establishment of religion. Sharia is an establishment of religion, and in 256 it says the right course has become clear from the wrong. So whoever believes in Allah, right, grasp the most trustworthy handle with no breaking. Okay, so it means that this verse is establishing the right from the wrong, meaning Islam is right and everybody else is wrong. Now, again, here it says Congress shall not respect that. They should take no
Yeah,
heed to believing that one religion is better of another and therefore not make a law respecting an establishment of that. How the hell is this the same thing, Claire?
it is the
You are a
same thing
lawyer.
because secular
You're a lawyer.
Quranism is not a religion.
No, no, no. Secular Quranism, when you say you want to base it on
It's
Sharia,
not a
on the
religion.
Quran, if you're going to base it on the Quran, if you want to base it on the Quran and Islam, then you have to take the Quran as better than everything else. The Congress shall
Well,
make no
yeah.
law respecting establishment or religion. The Quran is the establishment here. The Quran is
Yeah, yeah,
established.
and it's better than any other religion because no other holy book even talks about protecting the freedom of
Mhm.
belief and freedom
Yeah.
of
So, so,
expressions
so,
of
so the
people.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. You just contradicted yourself. When you say
No,
that it's better, no, when you say that the Quran is better, that means that you contradict yourself, right?
yes, but secular Quranism is not it's not a religion. It's not a belief system. It's just a legal system protecting the
But
rights
it
of people
uses,
and supporting the first.
it uses the Quran as a framework, and therefore it uses religious theocracy uh, as a staple of reference. That is going against the First Amendment.
I admit that, but the First Amendment is supported by secular Quranism, and thank you for highlighting that. I'm really grateful for that.
How is it possible?
I have actually drafted um, a reconstituted constitution, but maybe it will be too tiring to go through that at the moment.
I have listened to your ramblings in your book, and you do not explain it. And actually, when I look at the First Amendment, I can clearly see it contradicts the Quran. And by the way, again, since you want to emphasize the Quran so hard, I said this last time, I'm going to say it again. Okay? Chapter 2, verse 106 says, we do not abrogate a verse or cause it to be forgotten, except that we bring forth better than it or similar to it. Chapter 2 came before chapter 9. And let's read this together, verse by verse. Okay? This is a
Which verse
declaration
is
of.
this?
This is the first verse of chapter 9. This is a declaration of disassociation from Allah and His Messenger to those with whom you had made a treaty among the polytheists. So travel freely throughout the land during 4 months, but know that you cannot cause failure to Allah and that Allah will disgrace the disbelievers. And it is an announcement from Allah and His Messenger to the people on the day of the greater pilgrimage that Allah is disassociated from the disbelievers, and so is His Messenger. So if you repent, that is best for you. But if you turn away, then know that you will not cause failure to Allah and give tidings to those who disbelieve or of a painful punishment. And it says, accepted are those with whom you made a treaty among the polytheists, and then they have not been deficient towards you in anything or supported anyone against you. So complete for them the treaty until their term has ended. In the whatever. I'm not gonna read that shit. Every time, like, I'm gonna say Allah is an asshole. And when the sacred ones has passed, then kill the polytheists where you find them, and capture them and besiege them, and sit and wait for them at every place of ambush. But if they should repent, establish prayer, give a zakat, let them go their way. Let's see. And if any of the polytheists seeks your protection, then grant him protection so that he may the words of Allah. Then deliver him to his place safety. What a
Are we
nice
going
Allah.
anywhere with this?
Yes, I'm going to read this because I want to have the context. How can there be for the polytheists a treaty in the sight of Allah and with His Messenger, except for those with whom you made a treaty at Al Masjid Al Haram? So as long as they are upright toward you, be upright toward them. Sounds good so far. How can there be a treaty while if they gave dominance over you, they do not observe concerning you any pact of kinship or covenant or protection? They satisfy you with their mouths, but their heart refuse. They have exchanged the signs of Allah for a small price and averted people from His way. They do not observe towards a believer any pact of kinship or covenant of protection. And it is
I'm sorry,
they who are
I'm
the
zoning
transgressors.
out. You're just reading so many verses, and I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even know where it's going.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
I am getting
My
a
bad.
little tired. I mean,
Yeah,
if you have a
my bad.
point, make it, and not just read
Yeah,
me
okay.
endless verses.
My bad. I actually forgot to share screen. But okay, you don't want to. This is the funny thing. You don't want to read the Quran. You're just saying, oh, this
Well,
is just
I don't know
gibberish.
where you're going. You just read these verses, I don't know where it's going, and then you just throw them at me and expect me to deal with them.
What I want to
You know,
show you
I mean,
is
if you want to
how.
discuss a particular subject,
Okay,
give
Claire,
me
Claire.
notice.
I'll give you what I mean by this. Because every time I read chapter 9, Every Muslim does the same thing. You say you're not a Muslim, but whatever. People zone out. They don't want to hear it. My point is to show exactly how filthy chapter 9 is and how much it talks shit about the disbelievers and how it despises the disbelievers and how much it actually disrespect the disbelievers, and only through the submission of the disbelievers will it accept repentance from them. That's what chapter 9 is all about, and it talks about punishment, killing them and stuff like that. All right, you know what, there's another verse. It says, uh, you did not throw the stone, but Allah, uh, but Allah threw the stone. Chapter 8, verse 17. Let's see that. Chapter 8, verse 17. When you say about the adulterers being stoned to death, right? You did not slay them, but God slew them. And when you threw it was not thyself that threw, but God threw, right? You did not kill them, but Allah killed them. And you threw not, when you threw, but it was Allah who threw, right? So like, you can absolutely not come here as the lawyer that you pretend to be and tell me that you're allowed to take things out of context and just reference two verses of all the Quran and ignore all the other stuff in it that's in there and try to say that somehow this is the Congress that is implementing these things that the Quran promote, because the Quran does promote absolutely the opposite of what you say, right? And why I started with chapter 9, verse 1 is because I wanted to go down the path all the way down to chapter 9:29 so that you cannot have a way to just waver away and say, well, I'm gonna have my own interpretation and do it my way and think of it whatever. Here's another great one. All you have believed, indeed the polytheists are unclean, so let them not approach al masjid al haram after this. Right? The the polytheists are unclean.
You don't seem to realize that these verses are confined in space and time. It's all talking about
Show
Allah
me
and His messenger.
show me a verse in the Quran that abrogates chapter 9.
Muhammad is dead.
Show me a verse in the Quran that abrogates chapter 9. Show me a verse in the
You
Quran
don't
that
need to
abrogates
abrogate
chapter
it
9.
because it obviously doesn't apply because these verses,
If it's not abrogated and the Quran is for all time, it means it's still in practice.
the verses only apply to Muhammad.
If the Quran is for all time and it's not been abrogated, that means that the verses are still in practice.
It's implicitly abrogated since Muhammad is dead.
No, it's not. Where in the Quran does it say when Allah is dead, when Muhammad is dead, then it no longer applies, because it says in the Quran that Muhammad is the seal of the prophets. Muhammad sealed the deed. There cannot come anybody after him, and the Quran is to be practiced until the day of judgment. So
These
how?
verses applied only to Muhammad
Okay,
in his
okay,
time.
okay. Uh, According to what verse?
But it says it there. Look, the declaration of immunity from God and his apostle to the idolaters with whom you have made agreements. It's referring to a specific event. So then it says,
According to
oh, we're
what
reading
verse?
repentance, right?
According to what verse are these verses no longer in practice?
Yes. So then the next verse says, "For 4 months you shall go unmolested in the land." So it's talking about a
According to what verse is chapter 9 no longer to be in practice?
can't you see? If you read the context of it, you will see that it is advice to Muhammad and his followers at the time.
And that's why I keep going to show you how much repulsive it is. Claire, is Muhammad the seal of the messengers?
Well, he's supposed to be the last prophet.
Is there any prophet after him?
Not supposed to be.
Is the Quran to be followed until the day of judgment?
Yes.
Then how is this
Unless there's something
still
better.
and then how is this still not in practice today? If it's not been abrogated and this is the last chapter that's been revealed, how is this still in practice? Sorry, how is this still not in practice? Show me a verse that says that this was only for a significant time and it's now abrogated and you don't have to follow this. Show me that.
Sorry, what verse do you want to be abrogated?
929.
Okay, let's have a look at that.
Like the whole chapter 9, like just the whole chapter 9. I want to see it being abrogated.
Okay, you're just offended. Like, oh, believers know that the idolaters are unclean. Okay, so what's the big deal? Are
No,
you
that's
so
28.
mortally
That's 28.
offended?
That's 28. 29.
Okay, and then let them not approach the sacred mosque after this year is ended. So, can't you see that this
Claire,
instruction means it is confined in space and time? You can't see
yeah,
that.
Claire, are non-Muslims allowed in Mecca today?
No.
There you go. So it's still in practice. Claire, you are an absolute retard. I'm gonna remove you because seriously, it's like talking to a wall, and I honestly don't believe that you have. Uh, I'm gonna. I'm sorry, but I don't believe that you have a law degree for 1 second because you don't know anything of critical thinking or how to understand law or texts of law. You don't even understand the fucking principle of the Quran and Sharia, let alone common law. This was interesting. Yeah. Somebody who's a woman, I mean, I have nothing against women, but if if you want to say that you want to practice Sharia and implement it to UK and then don't even know what the Quran says, how it's formed, and try to tell me that somehow, well, it's implemented or it's implied because I say so, but I cannot show you why. I'm just gonna do it my way, and somehow, anybody who's a Muslim will actually agree with me. Nobody will agree with you. Nobody will agree that a single parent is on par with a rapist, according to your stupid system. And according to your stupid Sharia that you advocate for, you have to erase the concept of rape and pedophilia because those things are allowed according to the Sharia you advocate for. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. I hope that I made some sense to this. And I saw I lost my cool, but it's just, this is crazy. I can't believe a grown woman who allegedly has a law degree lost her mind. I don't know what the fuck happened. Lost her mind and starting to advocate for this and thinking that she understands Sharia by referencing two verses in her so called book and thinking that this will stick and cannot answer any questions, critical questions, or even think logically of what it means to implement Sharia, actually understanding it in context, and then just willy nilly go around and thinking that they can do whatever they want with it. And as long as it's uncomfortable, then you can just dismiss it. Doesn't work like that. I need a break, and I think we deserve. You know what? Since we're talking about it, here's Yastankiha for you.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي إن أراد النبي أن يستنكحا رسول الله يستنكحا رسول الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا صلوا عليه وسلموا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما يستنكحا رسول الله يستنكحا رسول الله إن أراد النبي أن يستنكحا وما كان لكم أن تؤذوا رسول الله رسول الله يستنكحا رسول الله يستنكحا رسول الله
Ramadan Khanzir, Ramadan Kuz Ummak. Take care, everybody.